Hello! Welcome to a summary of episodes 1 through 14 of Season 1 of Finding the Way. For whatever reason you're here, I hope this helps either to understand, explain, or just help you to get to know the lore and the plot. Now, because the summary is quite long, I didn't want to take hours to memorize the whole thing. I wanted to get it out to you guys. I do have it on my phone here, and I will be reading from that. But without further ado, here we go. We start off with one of our main characters, Piper, emerging from the ground terribly confused. She has no memories from before this point. When she emerges from the ground, she finds herself outside the village of Tacobia. Here, she meets two guards belonging to the village. Neither of them are very classy people. However, she doesn't have to endure them long because Zachary Evan comes running up and pulls her away from the two guards as they mock him for being part fox. Zachary Evan leads Piper around the town and explains what they have been dealing with as of late. The lord of the town has gone missing. Zachary Evan then explains that the tree in the center of their town is magical and chooses the lord. Since the lord has gone missing, it has begun wilting and is ready to choose a new lord. He tells Piper that everyone in town has tried placing their hand on the tree, including him, but a lord has not yet been picked. Zachary Evan then encourages Piper to place her hand on the tree. She has doubts at first, but Zachary then assures her that he would be there to help her. Piper places her hand on the tree and proclaims her the new lord. Zachary Evan then shows Piper to her new house, and they discover that it's basically about to fall down. Zachary Evan suggests that they fix it up, but Piper declines and says the rest of the town should come first. Zachary Evan then leaves Piper for the guard station. She realizes that she'd like to do something nice for him and compares him to the other guards he's working with. Piper goes to find him at the guard station, and when she finds him, he is being picked on by the other guards once again. Piper stands up for Zachary Evan and then names him head guard. Zachary Evan is excited to take this new and higher position. Zachary Evan then explains to Piper that the surrounding villages don't trust or like the village of Tacobia because of the old lord's actions. Piper decides that she is going to create alliances with the surrounding villages and fix Tacobia's reputation. Zachary Evan tells Piper about the closest village, Matori, but warns her that it might not be the safest place. She decides to head there first, despite that. The next day, the two leave Tacobia for Matori. At the gate to Matori, they run into Zachary Evan's brother, Emmett. It seems he has something to tell Piper about Zachary, but he keeps Emmett quiet. Piper then heads to the Lord's house where she meets Lord Falk. Upon talking to him, we see that Lord Falk is a bit shady. Piper asks him if he would be willing to form an alliance between their two villages. He agrees on one condition. Piper must visit a witch that lives on the edge of town and get a potion from her for him. Piper meets back up with Zachary and tells him what they have to do. Emmett informs them that the witch is not friendly and it won't be an easy task. Zachary Evan and Piper then leave Emmett to visit the witch. The potion that the Lord has sent them after is one to change your appearance. The witch, Eden, turns out to actually be very nice. After Eden is informed that they are searching for a potion for Lord Falk, she tries to turn them away. Zachary Evan then tells Eden that they are not from there and didn't know that it was bad to work with Lord Falk. Eden points them in the direction of another village that would be better to make an alliance with, but warns them that they need to leave without Lord Falk's guards seeing them, or they would be taken to jail for betraying him. Piper thanks her and asks how they can repay her, and Eden asks to go with them. Zachary Evan and Piper discuss and agree to have her come along. The three of them then leave the village under the cover of the night. On the journey to the other village, Aurelia, Eden asks the two of them if they have magic of any kind. She senses that something is off about both of them. Zachary Evan dodges the question, and Piper doesn't get a chance to answer before they arrive. Upon arrival, they meet Dakota, one of the guards. Piper asks him if they could meet with the Lord. He tells her that she's his sister, but they won't be able to meet with her until after her coronation the next day. Dakota leads them to a place where they can sleep for the night. Before bed, Eden asks Zachary Evan and Piper again if they have magic. Zachary Evan answers the question no this time, but is acting suspicious about it. In the morning, Piper starts to question her new position as Lord and is feeling stressed. She questions where she comes from and why she doesn't have any memories. She begins to wonder if she isn't the best person to be leading people. Piper wonders if it would be best for her to leave. She decides not to as Zachary Evan finds her roaming around Aurelia. Zachary asks if she's all right and then tells her that he's always there for her. Zachary Evan, Eden, and Piper then attend the Lord's coronation. Piper then introduces herself to Lord Harmony and they arrange an alliance between their villages. As part of the alliance, Harmony sends Dakota to serve with Piper as a guard after seeing that she doesn't have many. The group then leave Aurelia to head back home and discuss a way to get around Matori. Zachary Evan then suggests that they go through the Nightshade Wolf village. He then informs the group that the only thing he knows about the village is that there's a dormant end portal there. The group expresses discomfort about the end and the stories that go with it. Upon entering the Wolf Tribe village, they find it nearly empty save for one werewolf and a stranger who are quarreling. The stranger asks the werewolf what he knows about the rune of Miasmador, but he does not get a chance to answer before Piper steps in to aid the wolf. Zachary Evan attempts to pull Piper back and warns her that the stranger is an End Warrior. The stranger then takes a special interest in Piper and states that his overlord, Miasmador, would like to see her. Despite their fear, the rest of the group does not run away, but decide to back Piper up. The stranger states that Piper is special, but he leaves saying he'll be back when she's unaccompanied. The wolf, Mohegan, thanks them and explains that the stranger has been crawling out of the end portal for the past few weeks, signaling that the time of the end is upon them. We then get a glimpse into the end with the stranger and overlord Miasmador. The stranger states that there are signs that the one Miasmador seeks has appeared. Back with the group, Eden explains what the time of the end is. The banished god Miasmador has regained strength and will return to their dimension to wipe out all life. Piper asks what they can do about it and how Miasmador was defeated the first time. Eden answers that the 6 known gods and goddesses each picked a champion on Earth and gifted them powers and a weapon to use to defeat Miasmador, and together, they did. They return home that night. The next day, Dakota finds a woman running away from a black smoke creature outside of the gates. When the woman wakes, she introduces herself as Colette and explains that the creature attacked her caravan. Piper calms her down and offers for her to stay with them until they can find her caravan. Later, a frightened Zachary Evan runs off and the group have to search around the village to find him. Piper finds him hiding in the same exact hole that she came out of. While in the hole, he points out that there's what looks to be a rune at the bottom of the hole. Piper asks what he knows, but he has no information to provide. She continues to hide from him that this hole is where she came from. That night, after they are all in bed, Piper realizes that she should tell someone about where she comes from. She rushes to the guard tower to wake Zachary Evan and tell him. He's amazed and states that they need to find a scholar immediately. The next day, they inform the rest of the group. Eden digs up the hole and finds a complete rune at the bottom. When Piper jumps down into the hole, there is a bright flash of light and an axe appears in her hand. They find out that no one but Piper is able to lift the axe because of how heavy it is, but she finds it light as a feather. Zachary Evan, Piper, Eden, Dakota, and Colette meet up to discuss plans for contacting a scholar. They decide that Zachary, Colette, and Piper will walk until they find a village with a scholar. Eventually, they arrive at the village Ashfen. The guard at the gates is reluctant to let Zachary in because of a prejudice against fox people. The guard then explains that they've been having a thief problem recently before allowing them in. Once inside, the 3 of them split up to find a scholar. While exploring, a strange man bumps into Piper before apologizing and walking away. A few minutes later, she realizes that he stole her axe. She tracks him down and refuses to give it back to her. And he refuses to give it back to her. He runs away as Zachary comes up to Piper, exclaiming that he just found a scholar. She explains to him what just happened before they split up to look for the guy. While looking for him, the End Warrior from before shows up and tries to kidnap her. Before he can, the guy that stole her axe shows up and saves her and gives her her axe back, explaining that it was too heavy to steal anyway. While Piper and the guy are talking about what just happened, an Ashfen guard shows up and arrests the guy. Piper goes back to Zachary and Colette and says that they have to get the guy out of jail since he saved her. Before they free the guy from jail, They find the scholar, and he agrees to go back to Tekobia with them to study the rune. After that, Zachary and Colette go to have the guy pardoned by the Lord while Piper visits him in jail. The guy tells her to leave before his messed up life messes up hers, but she stays and asks his name. We find out that his name is Cade. They are able to get him pardoned by the Lord, but only on the condition that he leave the village within an hour or be sentenced to death. And that is a summary of episodes 1 through 14. I hope this has helped you to understand it or to get involved. I hope you continue to watch the episodes after this and enjoy. Thank you very much.